Have you ever wondered which LEGO themes are the best to invest in? Well, stick around for this video. I'm going to talk to you about my experience over the last 7 years on which LEGO themes I think are the best for investment. You ready? Let's go. Now, before we jump into it, there's something that's really important for you to know. All LEGO investing knowledge that I give is my personal experience. I'm in no way a financial advisor. I am just sharing with you my experience that I've learned as I've built up my investment portfolio over the last 7 years. If you go to lego.com and you're looking to buy a LEGO set and you go to the themes that are available to purchase, that is the comprehensive list that I'll be using. And there are 5 specific themes that I'm not really going to even touch on. Either they don't have enough sets to kind of give us some accurate data, or they were just released and we don't really know what they're going to look like long term when it comes to investment post-retirement. Those themes are the Buzz Lightyear theme that just came out, Minions, which we haven't had many sets retire from that line. Stranger Things only has 1 or 2 sets that are part of that line. The Boost line, which has 1, maybe 2 sets, and Mindstorm, which has had like 2 or 3 sets over the life. So we're not going to really talk about those just because they don't have enough sets as part of their line, or they've not been out long enough to give us any data when it comes to LEGO investing. But starting at the bottom of the list is the video line. This was a terrible line. The augmented reality that they try to develop with the video line and the hidden side line did not take off. They canceled the line and then they brought it back. These sets are available consistently on Amazon for 40 and 50% off that are still available today, and no one is buying them up. And I have a hard time believing that the end of this theme's life, when all the stock is dried up, any of these sets will get back to the original MSRP. It could take 3, 4, 5, 6 years until they're considered vintage or collectible for anyone to even bat an eye at this specific LEGO line. I would avoid it with a 10-foot pole. The next theme I would completely avoid is Dots. Dots has a bunch of sets that are available. I don't even know if you could call them sets. They're like wristband watches, and you put these little charms on them. It's basically like making a charm bracelet. You can make a photo holder. You can make little like creative boxes. They're more crafty than they are LEGO sets, and they have been significantly discounted over their life. I once dropped $200 on LEGO Dots, and all of that was like 70 to 90% off, and I still regret it to this day. Dots is a line that I would avoid completely. The next LEGO line is LEGO Classic. Again, another line that I would not even touch. It's just basic 2x4s, base plates, normal average bricks that really aren't that unique. There's been a couple random like Black Friday kits that have somewhat appreciated in value, but nothing has ever gone over 100% in appreciation. Definitely nothing unique about them, and I would not invest in any of those LEGO sets. All right, this next theme might be a little bit controversial, but I'm still going to put it down there at the bottom, and that is the LEGO Friends line. All right, here's one of the sets from the LEGO Friends line that I have as part of my inventory. Another one is the Jungle Rescue Base, and a third one is the Party Van. I think it's the Friendship Bus. I mentioned in a previous video talking about buy-in price. That was episode 1 of this series. Many of these sets I have found at a pretty significant discount when it comes to buy-in price. Because the buy-in price that I found was so low, all I really need is for this set or this set to appreciate above the original MSRP. I can make a few dollars on each of these LEGO sets. This one was one that I found for around 40% off towards the end of its life. It's one of the larger Friends sets that's really ever existed. I think it's currently trending at anywhere from $115 to $125 on the secondary market. If I sold today, I'd be making $20 or $30 on each. So still making money on this set. But again, LEGO Friends, they don't really appreciate year over year. You're not making a killing investing in LEGO Friends. There's never been a LEGO Friends set, to my knowledge, that's ever really appreciated over the $200 mark. Maybe 1 or 2 from back in the early 2010s, like 2010, 2011. But the line has been around for about 10 plus years, 12 years now. And none of the sets have really done all that well in 3, 4, 5, or 6 year segments. So I would avoid Friends normally when it comes to LEGO investing. But for finding sets on discount, it does really well. And if you throw them up on Facebook Marketplace around Christmas time, there are plenty of moms and dads out there that are looking to buy LEGO Friends for their girls in their family. So it's really easy to flip them for quick cash, but long-term investment I would avoid completely. All right, the next Lego theme that we're talking about is Lego Super Mario. This is a couple sets that I have as part of my investment portfolio for Lego Super Mario. Again, Super Mario is a theme we don't have much data on yet. It's only been around for a few years. Only a few of the sets have actually officially retired, the Bowser Castle being one of them. And this is a set that I was able to pick up for 30 and 40% off consistently. And it is still not appreciated to the level that I thought it was, maybe trending at $120, if that, on the secondary market. Could make $10, $15 if I sold the ones that I have, but that's one example. This I was able to find for 60% off, and I have a hard time turning down any Lego at 60% off, but again, I don't even know if this set is officially retired yet as well, but I don't really anticipate Super Mario doing that well. Now, I could look back in 3 years and be completely wrong because of certain sets that retire and appreciate, and we don't really know because the line still exists and it's pretty new. It hasn't really done that well so far, and I'm not high on it doing well long term. So that's just my opinion. We'll find out in a couple of years if I'm wrong. All right, the next Lego theme is Lego Disney. This one was difficult because Disney is pretty far-reaching, and on the Lego.com website, they have Lego Disney and they have Lego Frozen separated into two categories. So I combine those for our purposes, and it's really hard to get a grasp on how well Disney sets appreciate in value. If we're looking at an example like the 71044 Disney Train, that set has done amazing. Like, that's one of the best investing sets that's ever existed. But if we're looking at Cars or Mickey Mouse or Moana or Raya and the Last Dragon, I mean, there's so many unique themes inside of the Disney line that make it really difficult to give a full analysis on the line. Here's what I will say. Something that is not officially licensed as a movie or a specific princess, I would say is a pretty good bet. This set has consistently been out of stock at retailers everywhere. I believe it's available for $36 here in the US and is constantly trending at around $55, $60, $65 on the secondary market. Because this one pairs so well with the gigantic Disney castle, this set I think will do great for investment. Now, I think it's going to be on the market for the next 4 or 5 years, so I wouldn't be buying a ton of these off the bat. This one I have for my personal collection. The Disney Castle, again, it's projected to retire this year. If you pick that one up, a great winner. The Disney Train, another incredible winner when it comes to the Disney line. So, like, those non-movie licensed sets probably are going to do really well. Movies like Raya and the Last Dragon or Cars. Cars has historically done well, but some of the sets did poorly, and they still make some Duplo sets as part of that line. Mickey Mouse. There's now a Mickey Mouse and Friends Lego line that kind of fits into Disney. This one's really hard to give you a grand scope. So I guess if I'm going to give it like a broad strokes statement, avoiding the officially licensed movies is usually a good idea. I don't think Raya and the Last Dragon did very well. Moana didn't really do very well when it comes to investing. Some of the minifigures are collectible, but overall the official movies haven't done that well, and even Frozen sets have performed very poorly when it comes to investing. So avoiding Disney movies as a rule of thumb is probably smart, but investing in anything non-movie themed could have potential positive dividends long term. The next theme is Creator 3-in-1. Creator 3-in-1, again, another enigma. There are sets as far as the Creator 3-in-1 line that have done unbelievably well, have appreciated to 200 and 300% of their original MSRP. That's more specifically buildings as part of the Creator 3-in-1 line. The Pirate Roller Coaster is a great example that was consistently available anywhere from $48 to $55 on discount, and is now valued at anywhere from $170 to $200. That was a unique set that I knew would do really well. I invested in a couple of them and have since sold a few of them. Creator 3-in-1 buildings historically do really well, but like some of the Creator 3-in-1 vehicles, helicopters, boats, trains, cars, they haven't performed as well as some of the others inside of the theme. So that's why I've kept that theme at kind of the middle of the road when it comes to Lego investing. I have avoided it primarily. There are a few sets that I'll pick up here and there. The theme is actually improving in my mind. There are some promising sets as part of Creator 3-in-1 that could do well post-retirement. But when looking at the theme as a whole, pretty middle of the road, and I personally have avoided that theme consistently because I just haven't seen many of the sets performing very well over time. The next theme we're looking at is Lego City. Lego City is so comprehensive. Like, it's not even fair to put all of that into one theme, because Lego City encompasses a ton of space sets. And space historically has done pretty well for retirement, and it's found its way into many different Lego themes, not just Lego City. Now, there is no right or wrong necessarily when it comes to investing in Lego City. If you invest in the Lego tractors, those have historically done really well. If you invest in smaller Lego City vehicles that are really unique, like the Street Sweeper, that's one that did really well. The Lego River theme actually has performed really well, and they had like a Lego Mountain theme, and they had a Lego Jungle theme, and they had a Lego Fire Volcano theme. That one performed really well. But there are other ones that didn't perform as well, and some of the more standard city sets don't perform really well. So, again, that's why I would consider it right there with Creator 3-in-1. There are some sets that do really well. There are some sets that haven't performed very well, and it's not a general, like, buy Lego City because they're going to perform really well post-retirement. The thing that is really awesome about Lego City is almost every single Lego set as part of this line will eventually find itself at a 20 to 30% discount. So if you just want it for your personal collection, you're going to be able to find it on deal. And if you want to invest in them like myself, I thought this one caught my eye. I was able to pick it up for 30% off, 5 of them, hoping it can appreciate above the 150, 160, 170 mark by Christmas. And I'll sell them and make like $40 or $50 on each one of them. So this set, I'm hoping does really well. This set was just too good a deal to pass up for a really, really large Lego City set. So there are good city sets, there are bad city sets, and overall, I avoid most of these smaller ones that find themselves as part of this line. The next thing we're talking about is Lego Batman. A Lego Batman on the Shop at Home website has an independent category theme separate from DC Comics. So we've got DC as a category or a theme, and we've got Lego Batman, and I decided to separate them because I think it's important to separate the two themes. Lego Batman is, again, another line that, most of them, I would say, historically have been winners. But there are tons that have been losers, like every single Lego theme we've talked about up to this point. The thing that makes Lego Batman extremely collectible and extremely desirable is obviously going to be the minifigures that come as part of the sets. There are a ton of Batman collectors out there. There are a ton of Lego Batman collectors out there. There are a ton of completionists that want to have every single Lego Batman minifigure that Lego ever makes. So, when Lego comes out with a new set, and that Batman figure as part of that set is unique, likely that set will do pretty well post-retirement. Now, I'm going to talk about minifigures and unique pieces in another episode of this series. But that is a pretty general rule of thumb when it comes to investing in Lego Batman. Now you've got sets like the gigantic vintage Batwing, the vintage Batmobile, the Tumbler. All of these sets have actually performed pretty well. The original Tumbler, like the original UCS Tumbler, was one of the worst performing larger Batman sets to date. And then they just re-released it. So that's a really big enigma that everyone thought was going to do really well, didn't appreciate well post-retirement, even had some minifigures as part of it. So Lego Batman, as a general rule of thumb, is a pretty good investment for the minifigures. Minifigure collectors as part of the Batman line are what you're going to want to look out for. So if your set has a unique minifigure inside of it, that's going to be a good spot to look for when it comes to investing in this line. Overall, I like the line. I have done a lot of investing in Lego Batman, and overall, it's been a pretty good theme. The next theme is Lego DC. DC encompasses everything outside of Batman, and it actually hasn't performed as well as the Batman line. So I apologize if I'm actually going to take back my words. I would put DC probably a couple tiers below Batman, because that's included like Aquaman sets, Wonder Woman sets, Superman sets, And all of those sets have actually performed pretty poorly when it comes to Lego investing. There haven't been many DC sets that are like definite winners outside of Lego Batman. So I'm kind of regretting putting it up so high. Although there are collectors out there that want the minifigures as part of those sets, Batman historically has done better. And personally, I have avoided most DC sets as part of Lego investing. So DC, not on my list. Batman, I'll give the green light when it comes to Lego investing. Now this next line, I'm going to get a lot of flack for putting it up so high on my list. The next line is Duplo. Again, Duplo is basically its own line in and of itself, because that can include Duplo Frozen, Duplo Mickey Mouse, Duplo Superheroes, Duplo City, Duplo Jurassic World. So I'm just going to include all Duplo sets, whether they're licensed themes or just specific Duplo sets, all into one. And because I can do that, that is why I'm elevating it a lot higher. I don't really know who the collectors of Duplo are out there. If you are a collector of Lego Duplo, like you build Lego Duplo for your personal collection and you are over the age of 8, comment below because I want to know what you create with Lego Duplo. For me, they're not very fun to build with. Now, I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, so it's basically all that I play with right now, hoping that ends sooner than later as they can build more system bricks or Technic bricks. But right now, all I do is play with Lego Duplo, and I feel like I've played with so many 2x4s and 2x2s that my head could pop off. There's never anything to me that's really unique except for the figures. So my thought is there's someone out there that is collecting Duplo minifigures. Are they called minifigures? Macro figures, if you call them, if they're Duplo. There are Jurassic World, Disney, superheroes, Batman. Like some of the Batman sets as part of the Duplo line have done incredibly well. I bought several Batman Batcave Duplo sets back in like 2016 for like 40 bucks. And I sold them for like $220 just because the figures, a part of them were unique. They had a little like vintage Batmobile as part of the set. So there's got to be some collectors out there that are buying Duplo. And I think Duplo flies under the radar. Not many people are investing in it. So if someone needs to get their hand on the 1 or 2 that are available on eBay, they're going to have to pay a pretty penny. That's why I've put it pretty high up on my line. And regularly you can find Duplo sets on discount towards the end of their life. So I have several Duplo sets as part of my inventory. A lot of Duplo superhero sets and some of the Duplo Carnival sets specifically. So don't sleep on Duplo. It's not my favorite line, but it's one that can sneak under the radar and you can do really pretty well post-retirement. The next theme is Lego Art. Lego Art is one I have pretty high on the list for being a pretty new Lego theme. This set just came out. I don't have this one for investing. I have this one for my personal collection, hoping to build the gigantic, like takes 3 of these to build the gigantic Batmobile, but I have this one here as an example. But currently I have like 10 Beatles sets, 8 Sith sets, and like 9 of the Iron Man sets. I went pretty deep on art as a bit of a gamble. Now the reason I did is because I found them consistently for 20 and 30% off towards the end of their life. Many of these sets which retired at the end of 2021. The Iron Man, the Marilyn Monroe, and the Sith set. Oh, the Beatles set as well, all retired at the end of 2021. Now, those sets specifically have already appreciated pretty well on the secondary market. I believe all of them are trending at above $150 or $160 on eBay and other platforms. Now, the MSRP on these sets was $120, which is really, really expensive. So, when you consider wanting to build like one of those gigantic mosaics, you have to spend $360. Now, post-retirement, potentially $450 or $500, depending on which one that you want to invest in. So, I wouldn't sleep on Lego Art. I think maybe investors and collectors are going to get smarter. They're not going to let them disappear before they have the chance to get them. And again, the pieces aren't unique. It's 1x1 circle studs. Now, when you value it out as like a price per piece, it's one of the best you can do, but there's not very many unique pieces as a part of those Lego sets. So do not sleep on Lego Art. The next theme we're talking about is Lego Technic. Lego Technic, I think, is one of my favorites Although on this list, I'm not putting it in the top 5. If I had to think about it, it might be in my top 5. Because Lego Technic does really well post-retirement. The reason I have it a little bit lower on the list is because it's really, really difficult to sell. Lego Technic is certainly not as popular as Lego System, like normal Lego bricks. But the Technic collectors out there are die-hard fans. Use this as an example, okay? This is the McLaren set that there was some drama around the sponsorship and the stickers, the Pirelli wheels. This is the original version. Now they're making a remake version that has updated stickers and updated box, blah, blah, blah. Everyone found out about that. They went and bought this. Many investors bought it and then started selling them for anywhere from $300 to $350. And Technic collectors were buying it because they wanted these specific Pirelli wheels that came with it. Now that could have been F1 fans and Lego car fans and all of that, but it's still a Technic set. And I think the hype is there when it comes to Lego Technic. The fans are diehard, like I said. But the reason, again, I said I have it lower on the list is somewhat difficult to sell. Like I have a Technic Liebherr crane that I bought for $350. And it's currently sitting on eBay for $680. And I'm not the cheapest available, but I have been close to the bottom for the most of the time I've had it listed on eBay. And it just hasn't sold yet. Like, it's not as popular as the Disney train station or the Ninjago City Gardens. Although eventually someone will buy it, it just hasn't sold yet. And I know that sounds like I just have it listed too high, but even if I probably drop the price down to $600 or $550, it still would take some time to sell. So when Technic sets disappear, they appreciate in value really quickly because there's usually not a ton of inventory out there. An example is one of the Volvo Technic cranes that I bought. Got them consistently for $60 to $70 on discount. And immediately post-retirement, they jumped up to around $180 to $200, and I bought most of mine for $60 to $70. Now I listed mine at $200. I was the cheapest on eBay for months, and I sold one of my 7. One. And I was the cheapest forever. So they don't have a very fast sell-through, but they typically appreciate in value really well. So the supply and demand of Technic sets doesn't always equate to a great investment. That's why I don't have it actually in the top 5. But when it comes to appreciating post-retirement, most sets actually do really well. The next thing we're talking about is Spider-Man. On the Lego Shop website, Spider-Man is unique and separate from Marvel. Again, similar to Batman in DC, just because there's so many Spider-Man sets that come out compared to the entire Marvel line. But Spider-Man, I think, is more collectible than Batman. I don't know. You guys can correct me in the comments below, but I actually think it's more collectible because there are more unique Spider-Mans. Like there's Venom, there's the Iron Spider, there's Spider-Ham, there's Spider-Man just in this specific set alone. And unless you're looking like at Lego Batman collectible minifigures, I think there's more options when it comes to Spider-Man, and I think it might be more popular. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but I've actually seen Spider-Man sets do much better post-retirement than I've seen Lego Batman sets. Now, that's because some of the sets, when I originally started investing back 7 and 8 years ago that were retiring right when I was getting into it, have done really, really well. And I had some of my really early successes on Spider-Man Lego sets. That might be why I'm putting it higher than I probably should. This is a good example. Was able to pick up a bunch of these for $63, currently selling on eBay anywhere from $150 to $170. So this set was unique just because I thought Dinosaur mixed with Spider-Man was a definite winner, and it's done pretty well post-retirement. So Spider-Man's up there. I would take a look at the minifigures always. Make sure you're buying a set that has unique minifigures. But there's tons of Spider-Man collectors out there, and I think most of the sets have done really well post-retirement. And so next we have Marvel. We've got Marvel and we've got Spider-Man pretty close. You could probably interchange and put Spider-Man above, put Marvel below. But Marvel, we're talking Iron Man, we're talking Doctor Strange, we're talking Hulk, we're talking Avengers, we're talking everything when it comes to Marvel. And Marvel as a theme has just taken the world by storm. They have, I think Marvel, specifically over the last 7 years, has been one of the themes that has grown comprehensively when it comes to Lego sets. And they've done unbelievably well. Here's an example, the Avengers Tower. Bought a bunch of these for $45 right as they were retiring. They were pretty readily available on clearance at that price. And this set is now worth about $150, and I think it's been retired for a year and a half now, maybe a little bit less than that. A few unique minifigures. But the reason that makes Marvel, I'm telling you, the one reason that Marvel is so dang collectible is Iron Man. Iron Man, beyond a shadow of a doubt, has fueled the Marvel Lego line to appreciate the heights that I thought were relatively unprecedented. The Iron Man collectors out there are diehard. They want every single Iron Man minifigure they can get. I mean, these guys are wanting to collect minifigures. Marvel minifigure collectors out there are what are taking these sets to shoot up to new heights. Not every set is worth the investment. The Marvel Adventures Compound is one example that I went really deep in. Now, I bought most of mine for $70, and they're only worth about $100 now, and they've been retired for over a year. And there's like 8 minifigures in that set. Like 6 of them are unique. It was just so readily available at so many retailers and really has struggled to appreciate in value. But most of the Marvel sets will do well, and you'll usually get anywhere from 80 to 150% return on investment when it comes to investing in Marvel. And above Marvel, we actually have Ninjago. This one's going to get me a lot of flack. But one of the best themes I've ever had success investing in is Ninjago. Now, that might be because I had an incredible amount of favor when it came to investing in the Ninjago City and the Ninjago City docks. I know there are Ninjago fans out there. Most of those fans, I think, are anywhere from the age of 12 to 18. I think they're a little bit younger than maybe the adults that find themselves in the hobby. But Ninjago has done incredibly well for me. I bought a bunch of the city gardens and a bunch of the docks for anywhere from $250 to $300 and was selling them all day at $650, $700, $750. I think both of those sets are worth upwards of $800 and $900. Now, what I think the Ninjago City docks and the Ninjago City had going for them was they specifically fit into cityscapes really well, which is what many Lego fans have as part of their collection. And there was a ton of minifigures as part of them, 15 and 20 minifigures in some of those sets. So that really helped to the value. Those that love connecting the unique minifigures, the Ninjago Ninjas as part of the Lego lines, help appreciate those in value. But Ninjago has done really well because they have dragons. Dragons are historically really collectible. And that has increased the value on many of the Lego sets. So if you ever find a Ninjago set with a dragon, more often than not, it can do pretty well post-retirement. Some of those unique temple fire buildings, like I was buying some of those sets for $50 and $60 on discount and then selling them later for $150, $170, $180. I have rarely bought a Ninjago set that's been a dud. Now, I'm nervous that you're going to go deep on Ninjago today and then you're going to get burned later, and you might. The fad of Ninjago might be dying. The current sets that I have, like the Catamaran and the Undersea sets, I am not excited about at all. I don't think they'll do well post-retirement. But some of the sets that I've invested in over the last 7 years have been absolute winners, and it's been one of my favorite Lego lines to invest in. Next up, we have Jurassic World. Jurassic World, all I got to say is dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, dinosaurs, dinosaurs. Kids love dinosaurs. Adults love dinosaurs. It's just dinosaurs, okay? Dinosaurs have been collectible since Lego released the original dinos back in the late 90s, early 2000s. They have been unbelievably collectible. I mean, the original white Indominus Rex, before the other Indominus Rex set that just came out with the gray one, was selling for $170 to $180 post-retirement. Those minifigures as part of the Jurassic World sets, all the unique dino minifigures that come out, are unbelievably collectible and have created Jurassic World and Jurassic Park to be one of the most investable Lego lines that you could buy. Now, here's something to note. I have noticed over the last several years, specifically the last 1 or 2 years, Lego is re-releasing the same dinosaurs in different Lego sets. Sometimes with a color change, sometimes they're not even unique anymore, and that is damaging the value of the original Lego set. So I have a feeling that some of the sets that have retired over the last 2 or 3 years might get stuck plateauing and not and appreciating in value as much as I anticipated, because Lego can do whatever they want, and they can re-release those dinosaurs and those minifigures as part of new sets, and that no longer makes the original set worth as much. So I would be cautious going deep on a bunch of Jurassic World sets going forward. It's going to be pretty contingent on how well this movie does that's going to be coming out here shortly. But overall, over the last 7 years that I've been investing, Jurassic World has done amazing. Next up, we have Minecraft. Disclaimer, before we move forward with Minecraft, I think today is not as valuable as it was the last 5 or 6 years, okay? Again, I'm sharing you my experience over the last 5 to 7 years when it comes to Lego investing. Minecraft has been in the top 3. These sets have done unreal. Like, they've been unreal. Some of the early Minecraft sets that you could buy for $20 have been selling for $60, $70, and $80. They've appreciated 300 and 400% on the secondary market. But let's use this set as an example to table your expectations a little bit. This set was originally available consistently for $63.99, 20% off on Amazon, Target.com, Lego.com. I bought a bunch of these at $63.99. They disappeared from retailers towards the end of its shelf life. It jumped up to $170 and $180 on the secondary market. What did I do? I did not sell most of mine. And then somewhere they found an entire ship, or like 55 pallets of these on Amazon. They put them back at the original MSRP of $80, which made the value of this Lego set go down tremendously. And I believe it's currently worth like $120 on the secondary market. Maybe not even that. But let's look at the initial price jump. I mean, the initial price jump was 200% like that. I mean, it jumped up tremendously. Most of the Minecraft sets have really done that well over the past several years. Some of the newer ones, not as well. And this is a line similar to Jurassic World, where some of the newer sets that are coming out may not be as good of investment as some of the older sets from 4, 5, and 6 years ago. But overall, Minecraft has been a winner unanimously over the last 5 years, and I would consider it to continue to do well as long as the Minecraft video game stays popular amongst kids and teens. Next up, we have Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter is interesting, okay? So Harry Potter came back. Harry Potter existed on the market for a long time in the early 2000s into the 2010s. And then they stopped. They got rid of the line. And then 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, 5 years ago now, they brought the line back. So here's how I'm going to analyze Harry Potter, because only a few of the sets have discontinued since they brought the line back. But I'm going to go against what I originally said and kind of look at the history of Lego Harry Potter. And those sets have done incredibly well. Some of the best investing Lego sets you could possibly buy in the late 2000, like 2008, 2009, 2010, those Lego sets did unbelievably well on the secondary market. And some of the sets that have retired as part of the newer theme, the Quidditch match, the Night Bus, the Hagrid's Hut, they're seeing promising returns off the get, even though they've just retired in the last 6 months or the last year. This is a set that has been consistently unavailable to find throughout its life. When it's unavailable, it jumps up to $170. When it's available at MSRP, it's $100. So I think Harry Potter is still going to do well post-retirement, even though they're kind of re-releasing some of the older sets. Minifigures, man. Minifigures as part of these Lego sets do really well. The hard part with Harry Potter is some of these sets are on the market for like 3, 4, and 5 years. They're existing out there for a long time, which makes their return on investment a little bit slower. But some of the ones that sneak under the radar, they've got the 20th anniversary ones that are like got the golden minifigure as part of them. I think those are going to do really well post-retirement. So Harry Potter got it pretty high up there on the list, and you should probably invest in any sets that are larger with some unique minifigures. Next up, we have Star Wars. Star Wars, just outside of the top 5 at the number 6 Lego theme. I don't know. This is the tale of two sets. This set, hyped up, Cara Dune, all the drama, everyone buying them up, thinking that they're going to discontinue this Lego set. Nope. Lego keeps it on the market forever. People overhoard them. They produce too many of them. They drop it down to like $27 on Amazon. The original MSRP on this Lego set's $50. People keep buying them. Investors have tons of them. I have like 12. Others have like 100. This set's going to do terrible. It's going to be one of the worst investments I possibly make. And then there's this set. This set I've had 12 of at some point. Currently own 6 of them. Was able to buy a bunch of them at $80, and several of them I've been buying at MSRP when I can find them at stock at certain stores still. So I buy these up just because every single one of these minifigures in there is unique. And these aren't very popular minifigures. V. Marathi, Lieutenant Beck, and the Astromech droid. I don't know if you count the GNK power droid, but they're all unique to this set. Not a super cool set, but if you know anything about Star Wars collectors, they love to have every single Lego Star Wars ship and Lego minifigure that comes a part of the Star Wars line possible. I like to have every single one. And so because I don't think they're going to remake the V. Marathi minifigure anytime soon, I think this set's going to do really well. I think that minifigure alone sells for like $30 or $35 on the secondary market. That's why I think Star Wars is one of the best themes that you can invest in. The problem is there are still a ton of duds. So when it comes to investing, Star Wars has produced some of the best winners of all time, like some of the best investing Lego sets that have ever existed on the market. I mean, let's look at the UCS sets. The UCS Slave 1 is worth like $600. It was originally available for $200. The Snowspeeder's up to like $450, originally available for $200. And those sets have only been retired for like 4 or 5 years. They've done incredibly well. But there's other sets that are smaller or don't have as unique minifigures, and they just, I mean, what? They've released how many little land speeders, Luke's land speeders? Like 12 of them. Every single year they come out with a new one. Like, people get tired of how many Lego sets as part of the Star Wars line are re-released. That makes investing in Star Wars really difficult. Now, can we say invest in every single UCS Lego set? The rule of thumb is yes. Almost every single one of those has done well post-retirement. Now, the Tantive 4 was not a UCS set, and it didn't really do that well post-retirement. I bought a bunch of those. It's one of the worst investing sets I've ever bought because I thought the unique minifigures would help its cause, but it hasn't. So what am I trying to say? Invest in Star Wars if you know what you're doing. And sometimes I know what I'm doing, sometimes I don't. UCS, unique minifigures, and fun sets that are trending. Like, Star Wars is trending, man. You buy Obi-Wan sets. I mean, they release a set that has Obi-Wan's aunt in it, and then Owen Lars just takes off in value. Like, that's stuff you can't even predict. But it makes investing in Star Wars a unique, fun gamble and quite a game. So it's in my top 6, but not quite my top 5. All right, we're in the top 5. The top 5 themes that I think that you can invest in, or at least I've been able to invest in really well in over the last 5 to 7 years. At number 5, we have Lego Speed Champions. That's right. Speed Champions, in my investing experience, has been one of the best lines that you could possibly invest in. It's done unbelievably well. Disclaimer, before I continue, Speed Champions, I believe, someone's going to have to correct me on this, I believe it used to be a Lego.com exclusive and a Target exclusive line. So investing it in the early days, when I first got into Lego investing, it had done unbelievably well. Car collectors wanted every single unique one. Let's talk about the Lego Bugatti Chiron. That's part of the Speed Champions line. Originally a $15 Lego set. I think it's available for $110 on the secondary market right now. Some of the original 6-stud wide cars, all of them are above $50 and $60 in value, and their original MSRP was $15. Readily available for $12. The Porsche 911 just retired, even though that was available at almost every single retailer. It's already at about $30 on the secondary market. I bought a bunch at $11. Historically, based on ROI, Speed Champions has been one of the best. Now, most of those you're looking at are $15 and $12 sets. So a $12 set that you buy that appreciates to $36 is a 300% return on investment. Now, if you have to ship a $36 Lego set to California from Kansas City, you're going to spend $13. So you're hitting your profit right in the gut when it comes to selling one of those smaller Lego sets. So the reason Speed Champions is one of the best is for Amazon Lego sellers. I currently don't sell Lego on Amazon. It's been really difficult for me to get access to Amazon Lego selling. So Speed Champions sets that I've done really well on are the larger sets. The Speed Champions like semi-truck Ferrari set, the AMG Mercedes Lego set, the Porsche Finish Line Lego set. These are some sets that were 4 and 5 years old. Those have been some of my best winners. And some of the newer sets I think are still going to do really well post-retirement, and I definitely would invest in Speed Champions going forward. The next Lego theme is Lego Architecture. I cannot believe Lego Architecture is number 4 on my list. And the reason it blows my mind that it's number 4 is there has never been one single Lego Architecture set that has a minifigure. Part of the entire Lego investing experience is based on minifigures, and none of these sets have them. But what do? They have done an incredible job catering to the AFOL, the adult fan of Lego, like myself. I know friends of mine that are not Lego fans and not Lego collectors that have bought the Lego Architecture sets. There are completionists out there that want to have every single one, every single building, every single skylane, every single monument that they make. They just have to have it. And they are amazing display pieces. You can put a Lego Architecture set on a desk of a CEO downtown New York City. People would come in and think he has a specific designed piece of art on his desk. They're unbelievable. They look so good. And that's why I think they've been really great investment sets over the last several years. Lately, not as much. That's because the stock levels have increased dramatically. The Lego Dubai, the Lego Trafalgar Square, did I say that right? The Lego Empire State Building all retired at the end of 2022, or 2021, excuse me. And they haven't really appreciated that much, and a bunch of them are still available at MSRP at several retailers. So that has made it quite difficult to invest in Lego Architecture as of late. But any set that has retired between the last 7 years and the last 5 years has done incredibly well. Incredibly well. Let's use Las Vegas as an example. Las Vegas was available for $40. I think it's currently trending at $80, $90, sometimes $100, depending on the retailer that you're looking at. And it's only been retired for about 1 or 2 years. Most of them appreciate into 200 and 300% post-retirement 3 to 4 years down the road. And I don't expect that to change, but I would keep an eye on some of the Lego sets that are coming down the line. And you're going to want to invest in specific architecture sets that have a shorter shelf life. For example, the New York City skyline, I think, has been on the market now for 5 or 6 years. Don't anticipate that one doing well, but any architecture sets that exist for 1 to 2 years are usually guaranteed winners. Next up, we have in our top 3 the Lego Ideas theme at number 3. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, he hasn't shown us any of these that he has as part of his collection right now. You're right. Because these are such good sellers, I have them running out the doors all the time. Now I have a few of them tucked way back in my inventory that I just chose not to dig out. So it's not like I'm completely dried up. But the reason I have these so high on my list is because I have trouble keeping them in stock. Usually that's because of how high the demand is for these specific Lego sets. And Lego Ideas has been one of the best. What's unique about Lego Ideas is that they are fan submission Lego sets that are slightly redesigned by Lego and then submitted as an official Lego set. And the reason, I believe, the number one reason that I think these Lego sets have done so well is because they average 1 to 2 years on the shelf. Rarely do they exist for longer than that. Some unique examples are this. The treehouse has been extended 4 or 5 times on its shelf life, and it might literally exist forever. It's an amazing Lego set, one of the best Lego Idea sets of all time, but could potentially become a poor investment because of how long it's been on the market and how many times they've threatened to retire the set, and investors have bought up some of the stock. So I imagine it's heavily hoarded. It's probably not going to do very well. The ship in a bottle and the NASA Saturn V have all been re-released. So they retired, and then they got re-released several months later, and then they existed on the market for another year, 2 years. I believe the ship in the bottle just retired for the second time, and the Saturn V is projected to retire again this year. So when Lego does that stuff, it makes this Lego line really difficult to invest in. But there are some of the original Lego Ideas sets that I was able to buy way back in the day that have done incredibly well post-retirement. They have unique minifigures. They have historically done extremely well. I imagine the Lego Ideas line to continue to have success with sets like The Big Bang Theory, Seinfeld, The Office, these nostalgic multi-minifigure sets that collectors are going to want to get their hands on, and I think are going to do incredibly well post-retirement. And at number two, my favorite Lego line to invest in is the Creator Expert line. No longer called the Creator Expert line, but is now rebranded to Lego Icons. Now, I'm not surprised that Lego did this. Why? Because they have Lego Creator 3-in-1 and they have Lego Creator. It was getting a little confusing on which set was which. Obviously, 3-in-1 denotes the 3-in-1 and Creator Expert denotes Creator Expert. But now many of these have been branded like 18+ adult sets. That includes like the new Optimus Prime, the flower bouquet and the bonsai tree, the modular buildings, the creator cars. There's no real rhyme or reason to Creator Expert or Lego Icons, but now they can include sets like the Lego Adidas shoes. So anyway, Lego Creator Expert and Lego Icons. The Lego Creator Expert cars have historically done amazingly well. Even though the Volkswagen T1 camper van existed for so long, it's appreciated post-retirement. The Ferrari F40 has done really well. The Mini Cooper did really well. So that's just the Creator Expert cars. Not to mention every single modular building that's part of this line. Outside of the pet shop, okay? The pet shop, I think, was on the market for like 8 or 9 years. Some crazy amount of time. Every other modular building has appreciated tremendously well post-retirement. The corner garage, MSRP $200, is already trending at $350 to $360 on the secondary market. The downtown diner. Let's mention two sets that retired in 1 year was the Detective Office and the Brick Bank, both worth well over $500 on the secondary market and were I think $180 each when they were originally on the market. Those sets you cannot stop them from appreciating, and almost every single one of them continues to appreciate in value. And then every other set that's part of that line, I think, is going to do well. We've got Optimus Prime now. Like, there's no way that's not a winner. All of the Creator Expert, the Icons, Lego sets are going to do pretty well post-retirement. And that's why I have it as the number 2 line that you can invest in. And at number 1, the number 1 Lego theme for return on investment is BrickHeadz. Many of you are sitting there laughing right now. And I might be laughing too. I probably should have Creator Expert and Icons at number 1. But I'm putting BrickHeadz here for a specific reason, okay? Every single BrickHeadz set, unique BrickHeadz set, one BrickHead is $10, okay? That's the MSRP. Many of them have been $15 for like some of the pets that are like a larger animal and a smaller animal. And then you've got some of the combo packs that are $20 that have 2 BrickHeadz. The Spice Girls tribute has 4 or 5 as part of them. I think it's $40 or $50. So essentially you're spending $10 per BrickHead, no matter if the combo pack is 2, 5, or 1. So there are a few of them that have performed very poorly post-retirement. But let's take an example, okay? Mickey Mouse, available for $10. If you were able to get it on discount for $8 or $7, you probably could. And now it's worth like $50 or $60 on the secondary market. The Captain Jack Sparrow is like up to $40, was originally $10. Captain Phasma is like $60 and $70. The Lloyd Ninjago set, $50, $60. We're looking at 500 to 600% when it comes to return on investment for a bunch of these original BrickHead sets. BrickHead sets sometimes exist on the market for like 10 months. They're super short-lived. And because of that, people need to collect them. It's like Funko collectors. It's so weird to me how many people want BrickHeadz. One, because I think they're ugly. I don't know who's buying them. I don't like Funkos either. So if you're a Funko fan or a BrickHeadz fan, don't kill me, okay? I'm sorry. It's not my personal cup of tea, but it's obviously someone's cup of tea because they've appreciated tremendously in value. When it comes to specific percentage return on investment, they have by and large exceeded every single Lego line. There are a couple duds in there, but there are not many. And I would consider BrickHeads to be some of the best when it comes to Lego investing. Again, similar to Speed Champions. If you're not being able to sell them on Amazon, you might take a larger hit when it comes to packing and shipping. If you have to buy a box for each one, if you have to buy packing materials, if you have to ship the product, and it's going to cost anywhere from $8 via USPS first class to $13 if you send it USPS priority mail, that can really dig into your profit. But when it comes to specifically return on investment, Lego BrickHeads has blown every single Lego theme out of the water. So I think another line that I forgot to mention was Lego Monkey Kid. We don't have enough data to kind of look at that theme yet, but maybe it'll do well post-retirement. We'll talk about that in another video. So, whew, that was a big video. That is every single Lego line. I probably could spend 5 to 10 minutes on each one. I probably already did. I don't even know how long this video is going to end up being, but that's a look at which Lego lines should you invest in. Before I close out, let me end with this. There are winners and there are losers a part of every single Lego line. If you invest only in BrickHeads, does not mean you're going to make it big. If you invest only in Lego Creator Expert or Lego Icons, does not mean you're going to make it big. And if you only invest in architecture or ideas. This is not a broad stroke statement, but it has been my experience over the last 7 years. Some of the best investing Lego lines are everything I've laid out, from worst to best. If you love this content and you love learning about Lego investing, subscribe and turn on that notification bell. As always, y'all, it's Jake from Jake's Bricks, signing off. We'll see you guys.